It's Tuesday, and this is Trekland Live on the road, Trekland HQ on the road. But yes, we are live. Today is my guest, REINA Del Cid, a viral Star Trek rapper that you know and love. Today on episode 315, can you believe it, of Trekland Tuesdays Live with me, Dr. Trek, Larry Nemecek, coming at you right here from the heart of Trekland, even on the road, for some sanity, clarity, and the big picture in most everything Star Trek. So, howdy do, everybody. Yes, I am on the road. I got away without our trademark cards, so you'll just have to trust me. I do have Plushy McCoy here, so you know it really is Trekland Mobile. Okay, it's the branch office today. We got the hashtag stack back here, so we're good. And I'm very excited today. Hopefully everybody's going to be dropping in here very quickly, right? Are we shocking everyone from being so close to time? There we go. Okay, welcome everybody in. Hey, if you are, I hope you saw all the alerts here that not only that I've got a guest this week, but who it is, because she kind of blew up the internets with some of her viral TikToks. Has a career all by herself, apart from all of this, but Star Trek World has benefited from a lot of smiles and a lot of fun rewatches and retweets and reviews. So yes, if you are new to us here, hang on. I'm going to get to the guest. That's going to be my soapbox today is going to be our guest chat. And if you are a longtime TTLer, you know to jump in the chat. That's going to be great. We're here. We've got folks from around the world with us at this time. Can't wait for that to get going. If you are new to Trekland Tuesdays Live, jump in the chat. Introduce yourself. Let us know where you're coming from. We will talk. I'm not ignoring the chat, but I will circle around at the end. And since we've got a guest today, we may dive into the chat before we let them go. All right. Reminder that if you're on Facebook, you are only seeing the Facebook chat. But if you're on YouTube or Twitch, you're seeing it all. All right. And well, let's just dive in. This is so much. Oh, I did want to say one thing. We were all shocked and saddened yesterday to hear about the passing of Manny Coto. It was one of those cases where he had been diagnosed apparently about 18 months ago with pancreatic cancer. If you are new to Trek World, Manny Coto was the guy who came out of nowhere, hired into the middle of the make it or break it third season of Enterprise. Did some excellent scripts, including Similitude, Sim Trip. And at the end of the season, which we can talk about it now, basically the ultimatum was if there was going to be a fourth season of Enterprise with the formulas and financing changing, that one of the caveats was that Rick and Brandon had to take a back seat. But they did choose Manny to lead the show, be the showrunner for the fourth season. We all know what happened. It was finally the series that we all thought we should have had all along. And but he had that one season. And then, of course, Enterprise ended, couldn't turn the corner, and we had the 12 years of the fallow times on TV. And Manny went on to a lot bigger success with 24 and some other series along the way, but apparently had been diagnosed a few months ago and didn't make a noise about it until the family announced his passing yesterday. So a lot of folks who remember not only the fourth season fondly, but remember what he did in just such a short window. And I said on Twitter, I had always hoped that he could find a way to come back and do a script or two somewhere in the modern world, as we had more fanboys and fangirls running shows, and the feeling for modern Trek got better, that we'd have some of our former writers come back and do one-off scripts here and there. But anyway, I'm really Manny was always really good for me, supportive of the magazine and books and whatever archival things I was doing at the time. We can talk more about that later, but first I want to bring in our guest. In fact, what I want to do, everybody, hang on. And again, I'm on the road, but I think I can pull this off. I want you to refresh your memory. I mentioned it already. REINA is our guest today. In case somehow you were under a rock and did not catch it, take a look at this. Take a listen. Hold on.
Hearing here. We got a subspace anomaly, a graviton pulse. We got a catastrophic diagnostic cycle result. Inertial dampeners just went offline, and that's a 10-hour job, but we'll do it in 5. I need a cryosensor, hyperspanner, neutrino probe, and a phase compensator for the warp manifolds. Cargo Bay 3 is on the verge of collapse. It's got more subspace flux than the Delphic expanse. I'm gonna temporarily reverse the polarity of this module to monitor electronic disparities, but we gotta find the source of that plasma leak, or we're looking at a possible warp core breach. Man, I was gonna hit 10 forward tonight. I told Guinan I'd be by to try the Rising Delight, but I'm stuck in engineering and I can't be surprised, cause it's just another day on the Enterprise. Engineering here. We got a subspace anomaly, a graviton pulse. We got a catastrophic.
All right. Boom. Yes, here she is. I'm so glad to have you with us, REINA. The chat is catching up.
Thanks,
I was
Larry.
going to say that, yes, thank you for joining us today. And I know you're coming in from home. And I just, the day that popped up in my, whatever, my feeds, my threads, whatever, I was like, wow, I just felt like I was watching, I don't know, watching a whole new a whole new genre. Not that any of that individually was, but the crossover with Trek, and you obviously were a fan and knew how to compose rap and do the rhythm and the beats and the whole thing, but to bring Trek into it. So welcome to Tuesdays Live, and I'm so glad to talk to you. And wow, how did you tell us about your career and then how it veered into this wacky little corner?
Yeah, it is a wacky little thing that I made. And I will say, not generally what I would normally do. I don't rap a lot. I do enjoy putting rhymes together and to rap a little bit, but I'm mostly I'm like a folk musician. I've been writing, folk songs and covering the classics and stuff on YouTube for a very long time. And I've also just been a fan of like all the Treks, or most of the Treks, for a very long time. And I thought it'd be fun to just sort of combine those two loves and create something wacky and weird. And I was not actually expecting anyone to watch that, so I was very surprised when I saw all the interaction on it. So,
well, see, that's the best thing. And I didn't have it up there. I should have mentioned. So it's had 109. I know there's likes and views and retweets and all that, but just on likes alone, you're at 109,000. And that was from June 10th. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it was the same way on TikTok. I wasn't expecting, again, I thought it would reach maybe like the 10 people who follow me and also, enjoy Star Trek, but it definitely reached a wider audience, and I'm happy about it. It was really cool, and it connected me with a lot of very cool people, including yourself. So.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, I couldn't, it blew up and things go viral, and sometimes things go viral for not a good reason. And that was just so joyous. That's the word I would say. And it's not like these are the fallow times and we've got no Star Trek. We've got, at least for a while longer, unless they keep yanking shows off the streamers, but we've got, new shows coming up. So it's almost like it's not the days when there was nothing going on and the fan films kind of filled that void for a bit. It's not like there's nothing else to occupy people's time.
Exactly.
So the fact that it took off and shot off. So let me just get the thing. You're a folk singer, and you sing as a duet, you sing solo.
Yep, both. Most of my videos on my YouTube channel, which is now actually just recently been retitled to Sunday Mornings HQ, because we post videos every Sunday, is with my partner Tony Lindgren. And so it's the two of us. A lot of times it's our bandmates and other people kind of circling in, and rotating cast of characters.
So it's been music for you, and Star Trek fan totally on the side, but obviously a deep one. You weren't shuffling through Memory Alpha to write that. That was coming out of heart.
I will say I got into Star Trek maybe a little later than a lot of people do. I discovered it, I always knew about it, but I really got into it when I was about 25. So my best friend Grace had always been telling me, you would just love Star Trek, you should really dive in. And I started with The Next Generation when I was 25, and I loved it so much, and then worked my way through all the 90s Treks, and then eventually got to the original series. And now I'm actually not even fully caught up with all the new stuff. I've watched Lower Decks and Discovery, but I haven't started the Strange New World stuff. So I'm not like the deepest Trek, expert or anything. Something I really enjoy. So,
well, don't tell anybody that, because you're sure faking us all if
that's good.
No, well, part of this is the craft of the rhyme and the meter and the beat. but you have to know what to plug in to
Yeah.
do that. And
Yeah. I've definitely seen enough Star Trek that I know the technobabble very well, to the point where it's almost like you'll watch an episode and you kind of know, even though it is technobabble, you know what the problem is. You know, you start to like recognize
Mhm.
the same issues that come up. So I just thought it'd be fun to like put all of that in a rhyme. And I was an English major, so I have a lot of fun with rhyme and
Well,
meter and yeah.
okay. You've had your share of what's I've gone iambic pentameter from Shakespeare, I guess.
There you go.
What what is the meter for, I mean, well, I love I've got the beverage one queued up here in a minute, but that's you totally start off in a different meter.
Well,
But is there a standard meter you're using here? Is it just
I
whatever?
mean,
Whatever.
yeah, now I'm gonna show my ignorance because I'm actually not thinking so much about what the exact meter is for any of these, but I think, like, for that Technobabble one, I did a few with that exact flow, and it's just based on that beat that I found from Cato, the producer. He's, like, another Instagram guy who makes those beats. But for the beverages one, which you just mentioned, I actually created that beat myself with different sounds from the Star Trek shows, so, like, little beeps and boops, you know, from the original
Mhm.
series and Next Generation, and then put together what I thought was kind of a beat that I could rap over, you know? So it's a little bit more involved with that one, but
I'm just notice I was being very diplomatic, and when you said I started watching Next or Star Trek at 25, I didn't ask how many years that'd been.
oh, thank you. You don't wanna out me too much.
Yeah. But anyway, but a few years, but I mean, late comer as in not teenager, not college, but post all that.
Yep. I'll just
So
say
what
it's been 10 years. So 10 years of
Okay,
loving Star Trek, yeah.
okay. Well, we've got folks on here that I'm sure have been recent comments and in the new age, the streaming era too. So I'm just gonna ask, so aside from, Tony twisting your arm, did she have to twist it very hard? I mean, what was the attraction? What did you like?
Well, Grace was my friend, I will say,
Oh, I'm
who
sorry.
Tony has never seen an episode of Star Trek in her life, so she's been putting up with me with this whole, you know, the raps I've been doing and stuff. So she's
Well, has it brought you views and likes and
yes,
followers?
absolutely, yeah. New
Okay.
followers that are yeah, very,
Yeah.
very cool, and
Sit
it's
down, Tony.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly, right. So, the I don't know, I think it was, you know, Grace has always she's very similar to me in many ways. We always like the same things. We have a lot of the similar thoughts. She's my best friend since college, and I knew if she's super into something, I'm probably gonna enjoy it too. It was just more a matter of, like, I need to set aside time because I think this is gonna be something I'm gonna be kind of addicted to, and I was right. So, yeah, it was, I started watching, like I said, Next Generation, and I got totally sucked in, and I don't know that you're supposed to binge, you know, like, The Next Generation. It seemed like the original intent is more episodic, a weekly kind of check-in, but I ended up binging that and then moving on to Deep Space Nine and then Voyager, and then back to the original series and then Enterprise, and
Yeah.
yeah, so it's been a journey, but
Well, I mean, when I think of binging, I don't so much think about you're binging a show that's serialized. I think you just sit down and you watch something for 15 hours. It's of the same title.
yeah,
Because if that were true, a lot of Star Trek binging, especially in the fallow times, before Discovery came back, wouldn't have happened if people said, "Oh, I'm not binging. I'm just watching every episode in a row."
right.
Um, so good on Grace. Okay. No, that's interesting to hear. I just assumed that you were bored at some point and thought, well, I'll go back to my Star Trek well and go to this, but because you weave them, I mean, they're so intricate. Um, in fact, the first time just going back just now, I was like, oh, I thought these were like 3 minutes long. I was just amazed, like a regular single, because it takes a lot. Now, I mean, I've got the other one queued up, but had you done anything like that? I know you did a Star Wars one eventually,
Yep.
but was that the first time you'd done a gone off on a wacky tangent like that?
Kind of,
A
yeah. I mean,
genre thing?
I've done wacky things in the past. I've always been a very vocal fan of, like, various sci-fi things. Like, we did a live stream from space where we played our music from space during the pandemic, where we were, you know, like, in front of a green screen on a planet that we named after Tony's guitar, and so then I made a whole space trailer of our van, like, leaving for I just do wacky things sometimes, but I don't think anyone was totally surprised to see that. And lately, I have been kind of stepping more into that side of myself and just allowing myself to be the nerd that I am. And it's been nice because it connects me to a lot of other interesting people. So
I mean, I was going to say, I hope it's when we were talking about just purely followers and metrics on your channels, but um, has anybody, I'm okay. Here's a question. Am I the first one to ask you about coming on a Trek related, situation, show, podcast, or
No,
hopefully
and
not? Hopefully I wasn't the first because it took us a while to get hooked up.
yeah, and I've just been so busy with, we're making an album. There are other things going on that I just haven't had a lot of time for podcast stuff. But when you reached out, it was a little different because I knew who you were. I actually
Oh, okay.
I've had that since I was about 25. So yeah, it was a little different when you reached out, and I was like, definitely want to talk to Larry, and so yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay, but have you? So others have invited you, but you haven't done them yet.
No, because I just, like I said, my schedule's been pretty busy. We've been traveling, and it's just not a great time for a lot of podcasts.
Well, thank you for making time. This is crazy time too. We're about to head into Comic-Con and Trek Vegas, and on my end, and I've been on vacations and con trips summer, so that's why we were having a dodgy time making it work. But so this is your first Trek interview, quote
Definitely
unquote.
my first Trek interview. Any kind of interview that Trek comes up at all, this is my first. So
okay.
Yeah.
Well, and since this blew up and went viral, okay. Well, let me. So there are some questions in the chat, but let me go ahead and play. This will be. I had this one pre-queued. Now I have to just figure out how I'm going to do this. The way I do this is we come down here, and then I click the other one. The best beverages. Okay, and there's you, and I think it's queued and ready to go. So I'm going to do it full screen, and we'll start.
Jean-Luc Picard likes his tea hot. Replicate, don't need no teapot. Janeway likes coffee. She'll fly in nebula clouds just to find it. Archer drinks sweet tea on his show. Only 4 seasons for him, though. Hot wrecked is Geno's for Cisco.
Make it so.
Romulan ale will get you wasted. Warp core breach at Quarks on the station. Klingon blood wine sweet like candy. That shit bites like a Saurian brandy. Ryzen Mai Tai got me flying. 1 Aldebaran and I'm warp 9 and I'll be lining them up like Guinan. At 10 forward, get inside it.
My visual processors and motor cortex, they are malfunctioning.
Find us on the starship, drinking that hard shit. Darts at the bar with Damara and Kanar shit. Yeah, we're getting ripped, but you know we're gonna sip when the Vinny 46 Chateau Picard hits. Oh no, here I go. Now I'm flowing in this beat like Odo. Verso Quattro? Thought so, cause I can translate shit like Sato. Deal me in the Tongo, spinning on the Dabo. In the hollow, Sherlock Holmes, drinking scotch with a shots flow. But we're not though, we're in the cosmos, backyard dealing with the space Gestapo.
Red alert.
Eeny, meeny, miny, fee, FIFO, bum. Pour me a little bit of that Canuckian rum. Federation credits or Latinum. Quarks at the bar pouring 2 for 1s. And I don't want scent, they'll give me raw. I don't even need a straw. Pour them drinks, fizz and pop. Bottoms up and
Kapla.
Jean-Luc Picard likes his tea hot. Replicate, don't need no teapot.
And there we go. Yay. Just awesome. Okay, so now I'm sad that only had like 18,000 views versus the 109. I guess the first breakthrough is always the big one. So what happened when the first one went viral? What happened? Because you did a couple other ones. You did another from engineering here.
The engineering,
beverage, the Star Wars. Yeah,
that was actually the one that the engineering one with the duet with the guy who made the beat was actually the first one. The one that you played is the second one. And this one, I think this is just I think it's a little bit more involved. It's a little more, I don't know, some deep cuts and stuff. Mm-hmm. I think the general public may be less into it, but I ended up liking that one better than the one that went super viral. So I'm proud of the little clips I got and stuff from the shows.
The little sound effects of the sound bites.
Yeah, little sound bites.
And the video. Yeah, the video. So you're right. I should correct that just for historians' future sake. 50 years from now, people are going to be watching this. The one where you have split screen with the guy reacting.
Yeah.
Okay, so was that? So I was confused because I thought someone else just picked it up and was, doing.
No,
and I kept looking for the original.
That was
How
just
did that come about? Who was that?
His name's Coto. He's a guy. He's a producer on TikTok, and he made that beat, and I just duetted his TikTok, and I mean he made it for real rappers. He made it for people doing serious things with his beat, but I just went on there and I duetted it, with some Star Trek technobabble, and it was sort of like a joke for myself, not a joke, but like just for fun thing, and I didn't think very many people would see it. But that one, some people saw it. They enjoyed it. They were like, you should do more of these. So I made that follow-up Technobabble one, and that's the one that kind of went a little bit viral. So yeah.
Well, I mean, I saw the one with who's the beat?
Cato, his name is
Cato.
Yeah.
He has a whole institute and everything. I saw that. I did see that one first, but it felt like maybe I saw it late and the other one came right after. But I was like, oh my God! Within a couple of days, I saw the second one. I was like, oh, you're going to start cranking these out, and then you didn't.
Yeah.
So I went, and that's
Right.
when I went to see that you had a whole life and career apart from doing Star Trek beat raps and TikToks and things. So
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
I think
so what followed those two then? What happened?
Well, then the beverages one I made, again, just sort of for fun. And because so many new people had found me through the Star Trek stuff, I was like, well, I can't just drop, and it's something I really enjoyed making. And I wanted to do a little bit more with it. And I'll continue to do more things like that. I was thinking maybe one from Sick Bay might be kind of fun, like in a similar vein as the engineering one. But yeah, just, it's fun.
Drugs, diseases, sick
Yeah.
aliens. You've got all kinds of things to,
So many medical babble that you could really use.
Yeah,
in
the
there.
instruments and not just
Yep.
hypos and
Hypos.
cortical stimulators and
Yep.
well, I'm glad. So you're busy working on the album now. So all of this is kind of taking. Oh, well, is that so? I'm thinking the two techno babbles, the beverage, the Star Wars. Was there another genre one you've done?
I just put out something yesterday that's like a science fiction in general, science fiction movies kind of rap, which actually Star Trek is not in because, I was doing kind of movies and I know there are some great Star Trek movies, but I did get some heat for that, for not including the Star Trek movies.
Oh, see, you poked the bear. You poked the bear of fandom. Boy, look out!
It's true. So yeah, I mean, like I said, lately I have been sort of stepping into my nerdy sci-fi side, and I'll continue to make stuff like that. But I'm also making the folk music that I've been making all along. So working on that as well. But
well, I mean, it's like it's Tony, right? Yeah, is Tony like, okay, I will indulge this to a point, but
no, she's pretty cool about it. She just herself does not want to watch it with me. So
well, you have years to go, maybe.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, what's but let me ask. I mean, what's the biggest surprise to you? You did it just for yourself for a lark. You had this huge reaction. Maybe it's dying down now. I don't know. But I mean, what's been the biggest surprise, that it just took off like it did, or anything, or some of the reactions you've gotten from people, hopefully more good than bad?
Yeah. Well, one of the things that was surprising to me is Terry. How do you pronounce his last name? I've actually never. Yeah. He reached out and DM'd me and said that he really appreciated it. And just hearing from him was kind of crazy.
Yeah. Well, I saw this first one I played right at the top, at least on the page of Instagram, was Gates McFadden saying this is.
Yes, that too. That was a huge shock. She was like one of my heroes, when the original, the days.
And, I don't know if you knew his name at the time, but I saw on your beverages one, somebody who had popped up at the top was Dave Blass, who was one of the new heroes. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is amazing. Yeah. So just the reaction from some of the Trek community was surprising to me and heartwarming. So
yeah. Well, cool. Let me jump in and I think your window, you saw the chat going by, right?
Yep, I can see it.
Yeah. So I don't know if you saw one there, but I'm just going to, after everybody's hellos and RIPs for Manny, snaps. And we've got Germans, we have Brits, we have Outback people from Australia, Austrians, sometimes people from Portugal, occasionally Brazil.
Wow.
I think we had a lot of first-time viewers though here. Larry's getting fancy this week. Well, there you go. I lay it all to the Patreon folk, my little common Patreon. Thank you, Andrew. Oh, here you go. Applause, REINA. Now, so REINA is your stage name, and you were telling me that. I mean, are you shifting to using your real name, or what's?
Yes. Yep. So this comes at an interesting time because you were like, "Oh, I'm gonna have REINA Del Cid on my show," and I'm actually just in the process of. I've had that name for maybe 15 years since I've been on YouTube. Basically, it was a username that I created for myself. YouTube, and people thought it was my name, so I rolled with it. And I've been Reina Del Cid this whole time. I'm just now changing my artist name to be my real name, so I'm about to be going as Elle Cordova, ELLE. So that's where you can find me. In the next, I think probably this week, I'm rolling that out. So
Okay. Well, we want to make sure and let everybody know where to, follow your mundane stuff. But
yes.
no, is anything but Monday. That's the, alternative to fandom thing here. So maybe you know this person. So Captain Robert April says he's been bugging you all for a copy of Band from Argo, which is an old folk sing film. And it's about people going on shore leave and getting drunk and getting in trouble from the Enterprise.
Love that.
And it's called Band from Argo. It's like upbeat banjo kind of.
That sounds right up my alley, actually, because it combines both of my loves. So, yeah.
Trek and getting drunk on shore leave, or
Trek and banjos. Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, that was like the first. Well, here's the thing: are you familiar at all with the first? Somebody was. Oh, here, Melanie. This is what I was going to say. Do you know? Do you like, or do you even know what filking is?
I know that word. It's been coming up a lot. I mean, I don't know what it means. I've just seen it. So tell me.
It's basic. The most basic is, and this is like so much in fandom, but this is pre-media fandom. It's basically science fiction folk songs.
Oh, okay.
And where the word comes from is there was some organic, I'm talking about like the 70s. And it's some sci-fi con in the old days. There was a typo in a program, and somebody was doing sci-fi folk songs or folk singing, and the typo was an I instead of the O. So it came out as sci-fi folk singing. And so everybody went, ha, 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 and it became a thing. And from that small acorn, it was very big in the 70s and 80s and into the 90s. And it still is. If you go to an old school con, it's not Comic-Con material.
Yeah.
But there's handed down songs, and of course most of the time they're parodies, but sometimes they're legit, ballads and things. But there was a woman, early fandom and fanzines, and like the whole Spock, was the reason for the revival of Star Trek in the first place, through zines, which became conventions, which clubs and all that. And a woman named Leslie Fish, and I'm trying the D-Horn Crew, I think was, oh my God, I can't believe it. I had one of their albums just so I could say I had a folk album and I was familiar with it. But Band from Argo is on that album, and that album is from at least the mid-70s. So, but there's a whole, not Star Trek. It's not just Star Trek either. It's the whole realm of sci-fi and fantasy and everything.
Okay. I think I accidentally made one of these songs then the other day, because I did a parody of American Pie by Don McLean, and I made it about AI, like the age of AI. So... And that's why people were saying that word. So that makes a lot of sense.
You stumbled. See, you accidentally. This is your genius, Reina, or Elle, if that is indeed your true name. You stumbled into this whole realm without knowing it. So that shows that's the organic nature. That's the chord you've touched. See?
It's funny because I thought everybody was just making a typo. I thought they were trying to say folk song. So I'm glad you told me.
That was the original. I'm glad we could educate you here today. May have some people in chat that had no idea about that. The filkers, like at the old school cons, and I just saw some still at SoonerCon the other day. They're great for like getting 12 or 15 of them in a circle at 10 or 11 in some random room that's not being used, and just going around and and somebody is writing down lyrics and chords and preserving this stuff. And somewhere there's probably it's an academic degree or an academy or something, or a museum somewhere probably by now, just because it's so. Oh, Heather. Hi, Heather. Heather's saying, you understand us Trekkies. I'm on a smaller screen today, so sorry. You underestimate us Trekkies. Yeah. As far as what took off and went viral, I think. There you go. Hey, okay. What's going on here? Looking for another one for you. Oh, look at this. Melanie says, wow, a Star Trek influencer.
I don't know if I would be able to call myself that, but that sounds like a fun job.
So it must be. Oh my goodness. I love this is so small. My screen is so small. I'm having trouble reading. I love Raina's Star Trek beverage wrap so dearly in my heart, soul, mind, and strength. Okay. Don't as Kirk said once, come on, Don Don, tell us what you really think. I mean, what's been the I mean, you said people were poking at you for not putting a Trek in your movie wrap, but I mean, has anything really blown you away on the good side?
I mean, just the I mean, the comments. I was really expecting it to reach just a few people. So just seeing all the people, how many people there really are that absolutely love Trek and understand the references and all that, it was just really nice. And definitely, when I posted it to my YouTube channel, most of the people following me are not intense Star Trek fans, so they were like, "What is this?" To the beverages wrap, but they were also cool about it. I think it's just kind of a fun rhyme anyway, to see, how the beverages work in a world. But
Yeah. I don't know how close you are to all your followers, like on your channel, but did you have anybody come out of the closet that you didn't realize were Trek people?
definitely, there were a few names I recognized as longtime fans that were like, "Oh my god, my worlds are colliding," so that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh. Oh, Zahir says, yeah, very cool, but can you come up with a Hamilton theme rap based on Trek?
That would be a challenge. That'd be a challenge. I'm up to it though.
Give her a time. Let her breathe. There's a real something that's going to pay the bills has got to come out. Well, could you do an album of that? I mean, is this to the point where you think you could do? I don't say an album because they're all so short, but or longer form. I mean, what do you?
I mean, what I was actually thinking was, because the two original Technobabble raps that I did were both from engineering and short, they could be like a verse length. So I thought just putting everything together in one song, not the beverages rap, but the Technobabble rap, I feel like it could be like each verse is a different section of the ship. We could get like transporter room, sick bay, engineering, maybe the bridge, and just have like each verse be that, and then a chorus. I could put a song out,
You
maybe.
do the hangar deck or shuttle bay. You could do a torpedo bay. You could do
It could be like a never-ending song, actually.
You could have a lower decks room.
There you go.
Yeah,
That'd be fun.
not so much with those characters. So, well, okay. So Dan is saying, would you ever think about doing a collaboration with anybody who's already musically in Trek, like the Roddenberrys, which is a band, the Enterprise Blues Band? Oh, Christina Chong, who's who sings and records.
I mean, definitely. I'm woefully ignorant about a lot of what's already out there, so I would have to find these people, but I would always be up for it. I mean, it's just nice to meet more people who are interested.
Yeah. The Enterprise Blues Band is primarily a bunch of the actors like Vaughn Armstrong and Max Grodenchik, who was Rom on DS9.
Oh, cool.
But Max is a great parody writer, and they'll take standards of all genres and do parody Trek lyrics to them. Yeah, you should definitely check out some of their bits. And they've been convention. My gosh, Raina, we need to get you on the convention tour.
There have been a couple that have reached out already. So if I can fit it in my, if it works out with the tour, the normal music or whatever, mainstream normie music tours, then yeah.
Well, how far afield do your tours go?
All the way to Europe. Last year we did a big Europe tour and then a big US tour, kind of all over. We had an Australian tour booked that got unfortunately canceled by the pandemic that we've been meaning to rebook and just haven't yet. So yeah, a few different places. But the convention circuit would be fun. It'd be really fun.
And conventions are, it's another pandemic. Everything went viral. Well, you would have been hit virally. I mean, everything went virtual. People all learned to survive their convention fix and their sci-fi fix and Trek fix. Okay, and I'm just saying hi to Anne Marie Siegel because she's hysterical. I love that. And if you know your movies, Sean's saying Happy Harriman Day because it's Tuesday. Let's see. Oh, very good, Duralta. So Duralta's from Germany. Do you have a favorite Trek episode?
Oh, that's hard. There are so many. One that comes immediately to mind would be I don't actually know the title of it, but it's the episode in Voyager where Tuvok and Neelix get combined into one
Oh
person.
my gosh.
Tuvix.
It's Tuvix.
Yeah. And that one, I just found that one to be really, really interesting because it raises so many questions, about morality. It shows a lot about Janeway. And I don't know. I just thought that was a really interesting one. There are just so many, though. It's really hard to pick a favorite episode.
That is true, especially after the hundreds and hundreds. So it's amazing that you went right to Tuvix, because I didn't get this at the time, but over the years, and I'm so glad to be your intro to so much of the Trek that you didn't know beyond Armchair Phantom. But there's a huge meta debate about Tuvix where people will, and it's like tastes great, less filling. It's like, hope that wasn't too old a reference. It's like, was she right? Did she murder Tuvix, or did she save Neelix and Tuvok? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which is the ethical question. I mean, you got the questions, but
Yeah.
there are people who will go and debate and say, she was wrong. No, she did what she had to do. I mean, do you just enjoy the debate, or the question, or do you come down on one side or the other?
I just enjoy the question. And I mean, I come down on Janeway's side, actually, because I just think when you have two separate people who have had entire lives, I mean, it's hard to quantify what a life means, and how important it is. But I just think like you're really murdering two people with, people who are crucial to the ship. There's so many reasons why I feel like she made the right call. But I also understand it's a really difficult. There's no good answer, to that question.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, like, part of me is the cynical, realistic me that goes, well, it's a show. You have two regular actors. Of course, they're going to bring the two regular actors back.
Okay. Yeah.
But I never stopped. It was like, it's an interesting moral dilemma. Of course, it's going to work out this way. And I never stopped to think about it. And then I wake up 10 years later, and there's this whole ongoing, and people are just adamant. Like, you really thought we're going to take the show on the second or third season, we're going to go off in this direction with this guy who he has a Paisley outfit that he wears now, and uniform, and we lost the technical, and her best friend of her oldest friend, and anyway. But now I'll be interested to see what the chat gets to. And I told you, I don't know how your time is. If you need to get out, we could get lost in this chat, but I don't want to keep you too long. So
I've got some more time.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to sample. So anyway, I just am amazed that you went right of all the things to jump into over the last 20 years. That's funny. Here's a request from Duralta. Will keep you in questions all day long. How about a Stargate wrap? Maybe you never saw Stargate.
I've seen a little bit of Stargate. I'm not at all qualified to make a rap about it, though. Yeah. I'm even more of an armchair fan of that. So
yeah. Looky there. Scott says, Scott's my assistant, said my social media algorithms failed me, and it took me to get him in touch with you, but he loves your stuff. Yeah, here you go. And we're banned from Argo evermore, something like that.
I need to go. I'm going to go look that up after this.
I can hear the twangy. Yeah, I'm sure it's out there. Or something. But there's the one that's more like the wheels on the bus go round and round. When you were talking about having a verse from the different departments, there's the old there's Klingons off the starboard bar. It's annoying as hell.
That one I've heard. Yeah.
You know that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Maybe not do it. No, I'm kidding. If you're scrambling to fill out an album, I'm in the digital age, I'm constantly amazed at people who how you conceive of an album when you're not worried about what's the time limits of a 33 long play album. Scott says diving into TNG and you had to get the book. So again, thank you. Okay.
It was actually a gift from my friend Grace. So,
okay. She was pulling you in with both hands.
She was like, well, if you're going to watch it, you should have this. And then she never asked for it back. So I'm happy about that.
Here's Dan. Do you have a favorite Star Trek species?
Oh man, these are hard because there's so many. Favorite species. Oh,
it's not like I'm going to buzz you wrong, or something. So,
no wrong answer. I don't know. I mean, I know it's a boring answer, but I think that the Vulcans are actually my favorite because I don't know. I kind of relate to them in a way. I find myself
it's totally fine to go with an obscure species like that.
Right. Yeah, it just really gives me cred, right? You know. Yeah.
No, it's well, I mean, that was the old. I mean, people think Klingons, but the Vulcans were the first. That's why we have Star Trek. I would say that's why we have a franchise, because of Nimoy and Spock and the Vulcans.
What would you say, Larry? I'm interested in your response.
Is what?
Your favorite species?
Well, this is an old. I'm the way you are. I have a hard time like coming up with number ones on things. And when it was just the original series, I could do this easily. But with all the hundreds of hours now, it's hard. But what I do a lot is look out for the underdogs.
Yeah, so like maybe like the tardigrade from Discovery, something like that.
Okay, yeah. Well, when you started with the T, I about fainted. I was a big in the original era, and even into next gen. It was like, well, Vulcans, okay, fine, and then Klingons, and even who gets rattled off on a list, and who do many fan artists Star Trek species, and there's the 5 or 6 faces or something. And the Andorians, everybody loves Andorians, even, the blue skin, the horns, but Tellarites get left out. So they're finally getting some attention on all the modern shows. But I don't have a pig fetish or anything. I just look out for the underdog sci-fi. That's why originally McCoy was my favorite OG character when that's all we had. No bloody ABCD. And I just go with that. Although, and as the years have gone by, it went from being a fan watching at home to working with a lot of these people and watching the shows watch the sausage be made. And that kind of.
That has to be surreal. Yeah.
What's Andrew? You love how I'm saying out loud what I'm doing. Well, I'm hoping the tech and the Wi-Fi stream hold up. What do you mean? If you say it out loud, it helps it. Okay. Well, I got an applause. Okay. Well, you got some applause for something there. Oh, Melanie is jamming along on her synth. Okay. Here we go. Love that. Robert April's a big fan of yours. Gangster rap, he says. Oh, and Kyle is like, oh my God, when does the album drop? So tell us about the album. What's the timeline here?
Well, he's probably saying, when does the Star Trek album drop?
No, well, we can tread water while we wait for that.
Right. There's no ETA on the Star Trek album. But yeah, working on a new album of, well, actually, I mean, not the furthest thing from, the nerdy sci-fi stuff I've been doing. There's a song about Roswell, like the history of Roswell.
Mm-hmm. Oh, cool.
Artificial intelligence. There are a lot of themes that you would find in these communities, and so it's not the furthest thing, but it is more of the folk format, less rapping, I guess.
Well, you certainly had a way with the intricate rhyme scheme and all that. If I can sound old school there. Dan loves the sampled sound effects, which I knew they were there, but they went by to think of it that way, but that is true. That's not exactly common. Yes, we should all subscribe. There we go. Now, are you going to change your channel name, or are you just going to use your L?
The channel name is actually already changed, and it's Sunday Mornings HQ. You can't find Reina Del Cid on YouTube anymore. And there's a whole reason for that. I mean, I was called that for a long time, like I said, but for the last few years, it's really been more of a collective. It's been me and Tony and then a bunch of other people. So I just felt like having it be my name personally. It just felt a little selfish or something.
Oh, it's like all this was set in stone and the rules were made up 20 years ago. Okay, I won't keep you much longer. I'm trying to see.
But yeah, on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, it'll be L Cordova if you want to find me.
Okay, L as in ELLE.
Yep.
Yes. As in Legally Blonde, L.
Yes.
I hope you don't use that to explain to people. There you go. Linda has a vote for Sick Bay Rap. Yes.
Awesome. Maybe I'll just go ahead and do that, because I have notes on my notes app on my phone. I already have a lot of it written, so might as well just finish it.
There you go, everybody. It's the sneak. It's not the sneak preview, but okay. I think I know the answer to this. Are you going to sneak any Star Trek related songs on your mainstream folk album? Well, you said you have the movie ones for this.
What was that?
He basically said, are you going to have any Star Trek themed songs on your mainstream album.
No, I mean, not overtly, no.
I use the verb sneak it on there, so that's
No, unfortunately. But maybe I'll just have a completely separate, like album and identity, and maybe a different name for that. Like somebody called me Seven of Rhyme, which I thought was hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I'll just adopt the name Seven of Rhyme and put out a whole album.
That can be your whole Trek persona.
Yeah, that'd be really fun.
Career. Yes, and we will know you when. Good question, Duralta again. How long did it take you to write, like the first one or the second one?
I'm gonna say maybe an hour, something like that. Maybe an hour, hour and a half, and then I posted that, and then immediately started, doing some numbers, and people were interacting and asking for another one. So I wrote the next one, probably in another hour or two, and I posted it like the next morning. So definitely did not think very hard, which is why there are some things in the first one that are just a little, not the best. If I could revise it, I would. So,
okay.
The nature of the internet.
The true artisan already wanting to.
Yeah.
Don't go Lucas on us. Okay. Let's see. Dr. Beverly is amazing. Yeah, that she jumped on there. Okay, so we already did. These are the basics, I guess. Scott, what about a character? Do you have a favorite character, or is that the same thing?
For me, it's really hard again, but I go between Janeway and Picard. It's hard to pick between them, but I love them both so much, and I love Dax from Deep Space Nine. I think Dax is so interesting, and her relationship, Jadzia Dax with Cisco, is really fun to me, and I don't know. There's just so many, and obviously I love Quark. He shows up a lot in my beverages rap.
Well, how can he not? If
right.
Beverages, yeah.
Exactly. I mean, there's just so many great characters. It's really.
Yeah, the beverages. You did have a Kirk and a Saurian Brandy reference, so you got original series in there. Yeah, there's not there. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Banned from Argo was on the unofficial Star Trek comedy album. That's true, Scott. I knew Banned from Argo actually hearing it on Dr. Demento, which throws me way back.
Yeah, I'm familiar. I actually follow him on Twitter. He's the guy that broke Weird Al, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, among many other things.
Among many other things. So when he had his 2-hour FM radio show every week, go back that far. I just amazed that he's still alive. I actually got to see him. So you would know who Spike Jonze was?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So before they closed it and only had the New York one, the LA Radio and TV Museum, which became the Paley Center, about 10 years ago, they had a night where they had, I guess, the last remaining guy from Spike Jonze's band, and Spike Jonze's wife, Helen Greco, who sings the soprano parts, and his son. He's died, but they had Spike. It was a tribute to Spike Jonze, and they had his gold record for Cocktails for Two and his gold record for De Fuhrer's Face. And they had a couple of the stupid costumes that the band wore, and some of the goofy, prop instruments. And his wife, his son, this guy, and Dr. Demento was the moderator. Cool. And I was just like, it was the best non-Trek night in LA I'd had since we moved here.
Wow.
And I have them all signed on the little Spike Jonze logo, and I got them all to sign the napkin on the cocktail napkin. Okay, end of that rant. But since we were geeking out, and I love that because it's like, here's a way I can geek out in a not Star Trek way. Okay.
I see the latest comment that just came through was, is there a character who you don't really like? And I think that one's easier for me to answer. We already mentioned him earlier in the conversation. And I know this makes me a bad person, but I don't really like Neelix.
Oh, well,
and not because he's really nice. He hasn't done anything wrong. I just, when he showed up in that first episode that he was in, I was like, this guy he's not going to be part of the regular cast. And then he was, and it was annoying. It's kind of like a Jar Jar Binks type situation, but he grew on me a little bit over time, but yeah.
Because Ethan, Johnny himself is hysterical, and he has this like wannabe stand-up comedy person that he wants to be or has done. But yeah, it was like, knowing him versus the character. And Neelix did grow on some people, but that's a safe bet to go on. You'll have a big club to join.
Okay.
Yeah, you are not alone. And then you have the pushback. Oh, Neelix isn't so bad. What was weird was how he and Kes were supposed to be a couple, and it never felt that.
There's a creepiness vibe there too that didn't sit well with me. And I know it was like slightly different time that it was made, but many reasons why Neelix not my favorite character.
Yeah, again, you're not alone. Oh, here's an interesting one from Rose. Rose is in England. Out of the films or TV, which songs do you love the most? What? Out of the films or TV, which songs do you love?
Songs from the Trek universe?
I guess. I'm not quite sure.
Maybe the little pub sing that they all have when Picard goes, in my days at the Academy, what did he say? We used to have a toast. I can't even remember what he said, but then they all
say fake Picard.
What's that?
Is it the fake Picard?
No, real Picard.
Hearts of Oak, or what?
Maybe that's what it was. Is it? Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Something mighty. It's like a sea shanty bar drinking song. Yeah. And they're all looking at him like he's buying us all rounds of real beer.
Very unlike him. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a fake start. It was a fake Picard.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, and oh my God. Anne-Marie, did I educate you on what folking was? Yes. Welcome to old school sci-fi fandom. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yay. I'm glad we accomplished something else.
I had a feeling that this conversation today was going to be educational for me. And it was. So it did not disappoint.
Okay. Well, I'm glad I did not disappoint. Oh, and then Dan says, well, since you like Star Trek and banjos, you know that Caretaker, the pilot for Voyager, has Banjo Man in it.
Oh, have I seen? Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yes,
I remember that.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. The Caretaker's human form.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, come on. Oh, there's a link. Okay, there's a link. Thank you, Scott. There's a link for Band from Argo. It's not a proper Filk along until somebody drags out Band from Argo.
I definitely have to look this up.
Maybe we're over-educating you a little bit too much. Let's see here. Okay. Well, hey, Diana. Okay. Yes. Bye, Miss American Pie. Yes, exactly. Which is what? One of the most parodiable.
It's so as we have learned.
Satirizable. No, there's a difference between satire and parody. So yeah.
Yeah. I changed it to why did we invent AI? And then it's about
it writes itself almost.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah.
I'm not taking away anything from your craftsmanship. I'm just saying. Oh, people are saying if you love Next Generation, the Picard series, and especially a lot of people say just skip the first 2 years and jump right to the third season, which is the one that just completed. That was the reunion of people.
Yep, I really enjoyed Picard.
Did you see the 3 seasons already?
Yep.
Oh, okay. I thought you had said that was in your list.
Just Strange New Worlds I haven't seen.
Oh, okay. Well, here's raves for the music on top of everything else, and I would agree. Oh, look at this. So Mona says, I personally find TikTok irritable, but she just followed you on there just so she could see and see what you do. There you go.
Hope I don't disappoint then. I'll try to make sure that it's worth getting on TikTok.
Yeah. And Linda's laughing about, I mentioned the podcast that Dr. Ali and I did for 2 years in the pandemic. And one of the things people came up with was he and I would get into, trademark things or ruts or whatever. And they came up with a drinking game whenever, somebody sings, whenever somebody mentions Kelvin Universe, whenever I mentioned McCoy, something. And one of the things that happened was there became a whole thing with when DeMar in the bar with Kanar and all the R stupid pun rhymes and Linda's harking. So I heard a little bit of that in the beverage.
That's
how
another
can you not, right?
Yeah, it just writes itself, that part especially.
Yeah. Just don't go on for 18 R rhyming words. Or maybe do.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Glenn. I am glad you could too. Yes. Well, I couldn't believe, and it took us so long to work the dates out on my side as well as yours, but I couldn't believe you hadn't been on. So I am touched that you found time for us and not that. Oh, Rose again. What sort of song makes you happy, and what sort of song makes you feel sad?
Oh man, these questions. It's so hard to pick.
She's rapidly losing her. Glad that you came on. Yeah.
They're just that's a very hard one. I mean, music has been. I mean, obviously, I chose to do it as a living, so it's important to me in my life. But when I think about sad, one of the first ones that popped into my head was, do you know that song, Billy Joel's song, "Good Night Saigon"?
Oh, yes. It's been a long time since I've heard it, but
That's a song that every time I hear it, it just gets me. And it's
Mhm.
it's obviously about Vietnam and whatever. So I think he's an incredible songwriter. And that song in particular really showcases his ability to get at your emotions. And I've heard it so many times now, it still hasn't lost its sharpness for me. So that one makes me sad. I like being sad more than I like being happy when I listen to music and when I enjoy art. So I'll just leave it at that.
It's hard to be an artist when you're happy all the time. You got to have
It
some.
is. Yeah. And the
You gotta
best
have
art makes me sad. So,
Yeah.
but I'm really glad that I was able to bring a little bit of joy to some people with that technobabble rap. It was nice to hear you say that. So
There
joy
we
is
go.
good too.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and the numbers speak for themselves. Oh, here's somebody Doralta's requesting a Deanna Troy rap somewhere along the way.
Oh, I love Troy. I would love to do that. I'd love to do a Janeway rap. There's so many people that deserve their own raps.
Yeah, you could have a whole tray full of raps. Oh no. Well, really, Sacramento is loaded with Star Trek themed bands. Okay, I'm trying to remember who I did know. For some reason, for some reason, okay. Thank you, Dominic, for yelling Stovacor at us. Okay. Was Stovacor wasn't in one of the things you did. I don't
No.
See, here you go. This is the Tuvix thing. Linda says hashtag Janeway was right. Yeah. Oh, I think I see the chat was behind. So now the chat's catching up with the Tuvix thing. Glenn, you know what they say, two Vics are better than one. Yeah, two Vic Fontaine. Okay, thank you, Glenn, as usual. Let's see. Trying to find real stuff.
Dominic just said that "I Come and Stand at Every Door" is by Pete Seeger, is one of the saddest songs. I don't know that one. But Peggy Seeger, his half sister, one of my favorites. I've covered a few of her songs, and I covered one of my favorite of hers is "I'm Gonna Be an Engineer," and I put it out on my YouTube channel, and she actually reached out to me and she sent me an email, and she's in her upper 80s and she's still touring.
Wow.
She's such a badass, but she's
Wow.
really cool. The whole Seeger family is obviously super talented, and it was cool to be able to talk to her a little bit.
I did not know anything about them as a kid, and then I saw he was on when he did his like Sesame Street recordings when Sesame Street was young, and then I saw like 10 years later people were mad that Pete Seeger had been allowed to use tax money on the public. I was like, oh, good grief. And then I went, oh, Blacklist. Oh, okay. I had no idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. We've got people relitigating the whole Tuvix thing. Oh, okay. What is this? Linda, her favorite cosplay from the 2021 STLV, which is Trek Vegas, was a guy in a tux with two masks of Vic Fontaine, and he was two Vics.
Love that.
I was really hoping and also not hoping you would say that. I actually thought I saw a good one here. Again, I'm on this tiny screen. It's a laptop, but it feels tiny. Yeah, it's Star Trekking Across the Universe is the name of the annoying bar song. That's the bus song of Star Trek. Oh, I know. Out of all the songs that are out there, one of them always gets me. I'm almost scared to hear of it now, and especially as the years go by, is "Cats in the Cradle."
Oh yeah.
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 It's like, it's just the inevitability of parents and kids, fathers and sons, and the cycles of life and everything. Let me go to a fresh one here. Go Vulcans. Everybody chiming in for Vulcans. Oh, well, you've seen original series. What did you think of the hippie songs from stiff man putting my mind in jail, and the judge bangs his gavel and says no bail?
I mean, I think it was charming, I guess. Yeah.
Well, there was always a whole, even at the time, like TV producers trying to make a kid, do a rock song. And it was always like that twangy guitar is like Beach Boys. And it's like, now it's 69. And that's not what, Yes. Anytime the Brady Bunch or the Gilligan's Island people would be dancing to a radio, and it would be that same sampled twangy guitar. Adam and the hippie band on Star Trek are legends. Okay. I'm trying not to ruin your yeah. Okay, people talking about their favorite species and underdogs. Because this is reference, Diana says, because machines and AI love it when you talk to them. Oh, okay. Don't know what that was in reference to, but it sounds cool. Did you see something else? I actually went back and Brewer and Shipley. Okay, Aldine. This is one of the Dr. Demento weird one-off hit wonder groups, and I can't think what it was. If you're not going to be cruel. Oh, there's a song about Roswell.
Yes, Tony and I got stuck in Roswell recently, coming back from Minnesota to Los Angeles, and we went through Roswell just to see it. I'd never been. I wanted to see it. I knew it was going to be really kitschy and touristy and stuff, but we got stuck there because our van broke down when we got into Roswell. So we were actually there for 10 days, just killing time while they were sending for parts, and
Maybe this was all some kind of alien manipulation to make
sure. It felt like it. It felt like we walked into like an EMP blast, and it just took out our van. And it was fun though. And we went to the museum and learned everything we could about Roswell, and wrote a song kind of about the history of what happened. Yeah, and that ended up getting around on Facebook, and it got to all these Roswell people, and they were like, some of them were most of them were really charmed, and then they brought us back to play their UFO festival like a couple months later, so that was cool.
Very nice. See? Yeah.
But a lot of them were kind of like, we're known for other things. We have a great art museum. You should have gone there.
Wow. I said, really, you're going to live in Roswell and promote the art museum when you're
I get it though. I'm sure it gets tiring after a while. They have like every street lamp is an alien head, and it's just a crazy place.
Yeah, I keep meaning to try to get myself there. So Sean here's saying, on your Roswell song, do you have the real story of Roswell, aka Odo, Rama, Nog, and Quark, the little green men in their green suits?
Gray men.
Yeah, the gray men. Well, there was the DS9 episode.
That I don't remember that. I've seen it probably, or definitely.
There's a DS9 episode where Quark, Rom, and Nog are all in his little ship, and they're trying to go somewhere, but they've got something contraband, that chemosite or something. Anyway, there's a time thing. It's a time travel show, only as a Ferengi could do it. And they wind up crash landing in Roswell in 1947. And what you turn out is like, they're the aliens who crashed in 47. And a local guy, a nurse, and an army general find them, and they're being interrogated. And anyway, it's called Little Green Men, and Bob Blackman specifically made them like greenish, 3 different greenish Ferengi suits to wear. So they would be
I love that. I need to rewatch that.
And there's a dog that was stowed away on the ship, and once they get there, you find out the dog is Odo, had morphed into a dog shape to stow away because he was going to track what they were doing, and he's stuck in the time with them. Yeah. Anyway, so supposedly they're the Roswell aliens.
That makes sense. I like that.
Of course it does. Yeah. So I guess that means there's no overt reference to the real Three Green Mans. Let's see. Oh, Sean says, you could do a challenge where people get words you have to rhyme in. His pick would be Heisenberg compensators or maybe cetacean ops.
I love that. Yeah. I would totally do that. And it's nice to have suggestions, because you can only pull so many out of your brain. It's nice to hear other people's suggestions. Yeah. I will take that as a challenge.
I mean, if you ever need a live event, this could be some kind of
and do it on the fly. That would be a lot of pressure. I could try.
Yeah. Well, no, turn it around. Have it be like you throw something out and have somebody in the audience.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
And then if you do, you have the right to steal it and use it in the next. That's how see, this is how you do these things. Really, I don't think this was lost. Hi, Sean. He's talking about Nimoy on Nimoy's album, The Ballad of Bilbo Baggins. He's saying was lost and forgotten for 30 years, but Dr. D played it in the 70s and the 80s on his show. I know.
That doesn't mean it wasn't lost because he knows some deep cuts,
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like it was sitting in a basement and nobody had it. The BBC had a Star Trek Night for 30th and I found the clip. Well, he might be meaning the video. The audio was a recording that I knew, but yeah, I was shocked to see the video. So maybe that's what you're talking about there. So yeah, good for the BBC. Okay, well, we got everybody's commenting on Neelix and Tuvix and Christoph. I think you answered this. Did you want Tuvix to stay on? You kind of said you agreed with Janeway. You've you poked somebody who is a Neelix lover. So we're hitting all the notes here. May was that. It's a successful, as he says in Apollo 13. I think that was a successful broadcast. Yes, no one likes Neelix. Okay, I'm really trying not to drag you out here. Beyond Antares for a ballad, yeah, from the original series. Oh, okay. Why I need an off? Oh, some kind. I guess something for day. Pretty fly for an AI, yeah. For Data.
I've seen that one too. That's another one that I've actually seen.
Yes, steady boys, steady. We fight and we conquer again and again.
Yes.
That was it, yeah. Hearts of Oak is our song, da-da-dum, yeah.
Or when Picard does that little dance on the bridge and sings, what was it that he sang with his like top hat and cane?
Well, that was done for something.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think
that was on.
Yeah, that may have been a Sesame Street thing or
really?
Or something. Oh. Well, there's the one where he does the A, you're adorable, B, you're so beautiful.
Yes,
that was the Sesame Street bit.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. There's a guy named Star Wrecked. He has a song called I Kissed a Borg, and I liked it.
That's good.
Okay, gang, let's see. We got something actually for Reina. This is like me. Actual questions, guys. Everybody likes to. Somebody just mentioned Loxana. You should. You could have a Greater Troy's thing. Yeah.
If I do the Troy rap, I would definitely include Loxana somehow.
Oh, okay. The Stovokor. There's a death metal Klingon band out of Sacramento called Stovokor. There we go. Doesn't sound like it's your style, but there we go.
Not exactly. I don't have the voice for it.
Or for more than 2 nights or something.
Right.
Let's see. We have a thing. Somebody will eventually come in and say the end of the chat is coming. Okay. Wait. Thank you, Dan. The Way to Eden. I went blank on the Space Hippies show. Heading out to Eden. Oh, I'm so sorry, Aldine. This wasn't a Dr. D song. Aldine and Brewer and Shipley was Stuck in the Middle with You, which I love that song. But clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right, which is the way most of the world is.
Yeah, we did that with our friends Josh Turner and Carson McKee. It's a great song.
Oh, okay. You did it. You mean it's on one of your albums, or you've recorded
No,
it? Or?
we just we covered it on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Not officially released or anything. Yeah.
Well, isn't YouTube official now?
I guess it kind of is when you think about it. You can't change anything, so it feels final and official.
It's not exactly hidden.
Yeah.
It ain't 2003 anymore. Okay. You intend to watch Strange New. You just haven't got to it.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
I just need to spend some time. I like to watch things, not episodically or weekly. I like to watch things all back to back to back to back.
Mm-hmm.
So
we call that binging.
Binging, yeah.
Oh, okay. Now we got a debate here. Brewer and Shipley also did. Whoops. Brewer and Shipley also did One Toke Over the Line. Sweet Jesus, I guess. I'm taking their word for it. Okay, this is a Google away, but it was the Roswell aliens that disabled your vehicle. Yeah, that's what.
That is what I thought. Yeah,
that's what we're getting to.
The end of the YouTube video for Roswell, the song, we have a little UFO come into the windshield where it looks like we're about to get abducted. That's the kind of wacky stuff that my followers are not that surprised by the Star Trek beverages rap, because I've been doing stuff like that. So yeah.
Well, good. It's got it has some humor and some personality to it. You got to do something. Go with your flow, whatever it is. Okay, gang. Now we see this is what happens. Stuck in the Middle you was Steelers Wheel. Okay, see these one-hit wonders. I didn't think that sounded right.
That's why I didn't say anything, because I was like, I thought it was Steelers Wheel, but maybe there was somebody that did it before them that I didn't know about. So
covering a one-hit wonder song is always a path to riches. Yeah. Okay, guys, let's Okay. Now all the love for Wade Eden and Little Green Men. And yes, that's right, Glenn. I should have thought of that. We just the two episodes we mentioned. So the space hippie Adam from Wade Eden was the general and much older, chomping on a cigar. General Deming, and I've gone blank on his name, and somebody will say it, but that's okay. Thank you, Charles Napier. Yes. Okay, both of them. See what you've wandered into, Raina. I'm so sorry. It's just everybody's turned loose with now the next 4 people are all mentioning this, but that's cool. Here you go. Rose is saying, just want to thank you, Raina, and for taking time out for Trekland Tuesday Live. Hoping everybody has a go. Okay, she's going on. But there you go. Thank you. I think we're about to the end of the chat, unless there's like the world's greatest question here for. So I don't know if you know Bonnie Gordon. She's a great ballad, torch singer, and also a voice actress. And she is the voice of the Protostar computer on Prodigy.
Oh, cool.
And she's hit the convention circuit the last year or two and been a big hit, and does some like mini concerts at night and goes to events and things. And somebody says you could team up with her and do improv Trek rap.
Cool. I really hope that Prodigy gets a home soon, because I didn't get a chance to watch it. I watched, I think, the first couple episodes, and I wanted to see the rest of it. So it's kind of sad if we don't get to.
Well, they are putting the second 10. I'm sure it will, because they've got 20 episodes made. That the Nickelodeon side of the deal is going to say, hey, it's not our tax break. Okay. We've got sad songs and Stargate and everything we've been talking about. Oh, and the Minstrel Boy is the one that O'Brien sings with his former captain, which is kind of morose. About the little boy who plays the drum and gets killed in a Napoleonic era.
Okay, might have to check that out again.
And a British tar is the sea shanty they sing in the shuttle in Insurrection. Let's see. Oh, it's Gilbert and Sullivan. Patrick singing on the bridge was for Jean's birthday. Okay, maybe I'm conflating two things, Scott. So these are the important issues that we have to settle before we let you go, Raina. Sorry. And everybody's chiming in with that. Okay. I just know that the A, you're adorable, B, you're so beautiful was played on Sesame Street. Unless I'm really, really, really wrong. Okay, guys. Let's have a real question for Raina or whatever. Okay, well, Dan has shared this chat to his board Star Trek music. So there you go, Raina. Another 47 followers.
Awesome.
Do you know the 47 thing?
No.
Okay, so I latched onto it, but many people did. So there's so Pomona College, Inland Empire, in the 60s, math professor sent a summer statistics class out around the campus to come back and tell him, take notes, look in the real world, and come back and explain their observations of why 47 was the world's most common random number in the universe, which makes no sense, right? But
I mean, shouldn't it be 42?
Well, that's the other thing. And at one point, but so yes, 42, I got all the early press and publicity from Hitchhiker's Guide. But 47 was this little Pomona College joke that grew and grew and grew and grew. And Joe Manosky went there, was a writer on Next Generation, and brought the 47 Pomona joke to TNG. And so starting then, 47's, Starbase 47 or 47 satellite pods line the planet, whatever. And it became a thing, and then it leaked out, and then the world knew about it, and they backed off a little bit, and then they brought it back. And anyway,
cool. I didn't know that. That's really cool. That's the
so
kind of
it
trivia
became a Star Trek, and supposedly other things around like entertainment do it too, but it really became a Star Trek thing. But it still is Pomona College's. They have a page on their website about the saga of the 47.
Cool.
And people keep saying Rick Berman did this, but I can't believe he was that clever. Said 47 is 42 adjusted for inflation.
Love that. Love that.
Okay. Here we go. It's the end of the chat as we know it. Thank you, Christoph and everybody. Yes. End of the line. Yes. Have a I don't know about somebody said you and Bonnie could have a rap battle. I'm like, I don't know about the whole competitive thing, but it was okay. I think we're good, Raina. Thank you so much for jumping in. It was probably far more than you expected, but
it was far greater and better than I could have ever expected. I learned so much as I thought I would about Star Trek by talking to you. So
awesome. Well, our fandom out here is keeping us all honest too and throwing things in the mix.
This was a ton of fun. Thank you so much.
Very good. Well, thank you so tell us once again what's up with the channel names. Where can people find you? And we'll make sure and post.
So just for sort of folk music, Sunday Mornings HQ is the channel on YouTube that I primarily post to. And then on social media, on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, you can find me right now as Reina Del Cid. But in the next week or so, it's going to be El Cordova, just to add a layer of confusion for everybody. So,
yeah. Well, very good. So there's some kind of album coming out at some point. No pressure, no expectations, no deadlines.
Some kind of album with a bunch of sci-fi themes. So if you're an enjoyer of Star Trek, you might enjoy some of this type of folk music too.
Okay. Maybe not capital L folk singing, but almost accidentally in that vein. Maybe.
Yeah, kind of. Without the parody aspect of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you said with or without the parody?
Without. Yeah.
Okay.
Not parodies.
Okay. Well, you can, if you can find any videos or audio of the Rat Pack, which is a lot of the Enterprise Blues Band guys and their parody songs, they get up as Rat Pack, like Martin Sinatra and all of them, and they do the thing in Vegas for the Vegas Con, and they'll do a lot of their parody songs there too. But some of them were done for cruises and things, so they're very beachy. So the Enterprise Blues. Anyway, Max has done so many parody. I left my heart. Oh, what does he say? I left my heart with Captain Sisko, something like that. Anyway,
I love that.
There's a lot of those like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's great. They sing if you've seen the DS9 documentary, they have the last bit after the credits have rolled.
Okay. Cool.
do a thing at the end. Anyway,
Awesome.
we will let you go. Raina, thank you so much for doing the date, dance and
Absolutely.
getting on with me and me on the road, and everything's worked out great today. Everybody go ahead. They can still go. Are the channels going to stay up as is, or are you renaming them and everything that's been up there, like we were watching the likes?
They'll stay as they are. They're just the name will update.
Okay, so nothing's going away or has to be segregated, siloed off.
Yeah.
Very good. It's not too late to everybody to go back and watch all the Trek videos 1 million times and 47 million times and do that. Even the Star Wars one. Did you get as much reaction to the Star Wars as the Trek ones?
On TikTok, yeah, but not on Instagram. Seems the Instagram must be, or at least the people I was reaching, more Trek fans. So TikTok was definitely more Star Wars.
Some of that may be demos related to the platform.
That could be, yeah.
Anyway, well, good. We can still win something. Okay. Thank you again so much. And everybody will be looking forward to seeing Sunday mornings.
Sunday morning.
I knew I was going to do that. Sunday morning HQ.
Yep. Yeah.
All right. Thank you again for coming on. Thank you for choosing us to be first. This will be out on YouTube. We'll edit it down a little bit, but it'll be out there too.
Awesome. Thanks,
Hopefully
everybody.
something you wouldn't mind pointing people to. So.
No, definitely not. So, thanks again, Larry.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Everybody hang on. There we go. And gang, I don't have parrots prepared because I'm on the road and I was wanting to make sure we spent most of the time with Raina. So I'm good to wrap up. I don't have cards. So I should at least give Scott and Kyle some cues here to say, I want to thank so much our Patreon folks. I don't have the names list with me, but you know who you are. You get a shout out every week. I'll get back in the groove next week. I promise. Here's a picture. We will have a post of everybody's names as usual, as well as the instructions. You can go to patreon.com/Trekland Live, I believe, and the $5, $10 level. Hey, look, if you're seeing this later on YouTube without it being live, well, you can still leave a comment. Please join in the live chats here, but also you guys can still leave a comment if you're seeing it later on YouTube. And if you're only watching us later on, if you get a chance to jump on at 1 o'clock Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock UK time, 10 p.m. Central Europe, you can do that right here on this Trekland channel. YouTube is the best place to see it these days, I'm just going to say. The Trek Files is up this week with a brand new episode. We've got Thomas Marone from Star Trek Online back with us, looking at some roots documents from the next generation. Again, all right from Gene's files. That's out as usual every Tuesday. So check out the Trek Files on our Facebook page is where the documents are, facebook.com/the Trek Files. You can get the audio wherever fine podcasts are caught. What are we doing here? Oh, it is summer. We're in the middle of summer. We're doing conventions. If it's still not too late to book and take your own unique custom Trekland Trek, if you're going to be in SoCal and you want to go to some location shots of, well, all the Star Treks that have not been done in Toronto, and of the modern era, that includes Picard. I can get you fixed up. We'll pick out 4. I'll work with you, and then I will host you, pick you up at your hotel, take you around for the day. We'll have a fast food lunch, visit 4 spots. It'll all be pre-planned, hopefully painless, and hopefully lots of fun, your own unique custom away mission. Let me know. It's at LarryNemechek.com, or even you can go to TreklandTreks.com and read all about it. Oh my gosh, what else? The TeePublic Store is having sales twice a month. You can check that out too. Anyway, it was so great to have Raina on today. This is the kind of thing I wanted. So thanks to our Patreons and thanks to everybody for the support. I couldn't believe that I wasn't seeing her pop up on Trek podcasts or live streams. And now I know why. But that's the kind of interesting offbeat Trek guest that will be interesting to have here. That doesn't fit Portal 47's backstage actual working pros, and even the backstage pros and or people associated with Star Trek in real life, family members, people from history, from the Trek Files. So hopefully as time goes on, that's what we can do here on Trekland Tuesdays Live, is have authors and other people like Raina be a part of, get their face out there and let you talk to them and hear them and converse. So, gang, I think we're going to call it here. This will be an offbeat format for today, but hey, it's my show. I can do what I want to do. And I'm going to clean up the screen. And thanks everybody again for joining us for Tuesdays. I guess what we're turning into here is you never know what you're going to get when you pop on to Tuesdays Live, or what you're going to get when you watch it later on YouTube. But there you go. We'll keep you guessing. Anyway, I'm here on the road. We will be back home next Tuesday like normal. We'll see what's going on by then. We have some more Star Trek news. What'll be happening? Yeah. Thank you all so much for being with me again. I got away with, like I said, I got Plushy McCoy here with me. So it's really me, okay? But you know what to do. Stay healthy out there, okay? Do all the things. Stay woke. Watch out for the deep fakes. Just check the source. And, this is my Diet Dr. Pepper, but I can still say, Trek well, everybody.